around the bend. You'll find it on the Telegraph website, thetelegraph.com. I'm Mike Montgomery. This is Corey Stoltz. He's the host. And today we're talking with Ann Davidson. She's the curator of a tattoo show here at the Jacoby Art Center. We're talking tats.
So Ann, where'd you get the idea for this exhibit?
Well, I teach out at Lewis and Clark, and I noticed that my students, I teach art history and art appreciation, my students light up every time we start talking about tattoos. And then I started finding out that there is a long tradition of tattooing around the world, 5,000 years at least, in every different culture. And I thought, you know, there's something really going on here, more than just, hey, I got drunk and I got a tattoo.
Sure.
There's deep personal meaning for these tattoos, so that's where the idea of the exhibit came from.
Now, learning more about the historical aspects of this, has it kind of inspired you to get your own ink done?
I am not going to do that.
No?
No, at this time.
All right. Maybe we'll convince you later on.
Maybe.
No, I'm inkless.
Okay.
But Mike is loaded down. He's got more than enough for the three of us.
Maybe 10 or a dozen or so, that's all.
So where did you find your subjects for the different pieces?
I had 150 of my students write a paper on a virtual work of art that just happened to be on a person. So they were practicing being an art historian. So they went out and they did all the research. And the criteria they used were originality, beautiful design, and also deep personal meaning for the owner.
Sure.
And it had to be a tattoo that could be on the front of the school newspaper.
Ah,
so
I see.
we got this 150 really amazing stories, and then out of that we picked the top 27.
Wow.
I don't think all of yours could be on the front of a newspaper. Well, depending if you were maybe being carted off in cuffs or something.
Yeah, here he goes again. No, this is a marvelous exhibit. It really is. Each exhibit, if you can see behind us and here in the foreground, we have the person who has the tattoo. We have a close-up in color of that tattoo, and then some information about the person, and the researcher then explains why the person got that tattoo, how long it took, and where they got the tattoo. Tattoos can take anywhere from 45 minutes to a couple hours to people who spend all their off hours doing it. It's just amazing. There's one tattoo in this exhibit. The fellow took more than 100 hours to have his side and flank, his back decorated. It's really impressive. Pretty wild to read.
So there's going to be a special event going on in conjunction with this on June 8th, is that right?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little about that?
It's going to be a gallery talk, so I'll be here talking about the exhibit and some of the stories. And then we'd like everybody to come down and have an opportunity to actually show off their tattoos and tell the story behind them. So, for example, Mike, I'm sure you'd be first in line, and you would be able to tell us about some of your tattoos. And it would be a safe place for people to tell a lot about their personal stories, and a lot of this is about kind of like spiritual beliefs, and tattoos have a lot of power.
People do believe that, and there really is something about permanently marking your body to represent your beliefs. For example, I have the start of the First Amendment right here because I spent many years in newspapers and radio, and I'm a firm believer in the First Amendment. And if someone once asked me, do you need to be reminded? I said, no, but other people do.
That's right. That's right.
But the one thing I think is so important to understand is that there is a long tradition of tattooing, at least 5,000 years.
Right.
And that it has extreme power for people in many different cultures. So it's not just this fly-by-night.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So I think it's something that a lot of people here would be very interested in. We've got a lot of, like I said, a lot of different types of people get tattoos for different reasons. So I think it's something that maybe can bring the community together.
It used to be primarily sailors and then armed forces personnel, then bikers came on, but now it's very much mainstream. A recent study by the Pew organization found that 36% of people under the age of 50 now have at least one tattoo.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So you would be that 36% out of this 100%.
Well, yeah, except I'm over 50.
Yeah.
All right, great. Well, Ann, we appreciate you showing us the exhibit, and we hope people come down and see it. It's going to be here June 15th, so if you get a chance, come down to Jacoby Art Center on Broadway and Alton. Thanks a lot.